Today I'm making chocolate chip cookies, a healthy vegan version. So in this bowl I have half a cup of softened butter. I might have softened it just a little bit too much, but that's okay. And then I have a cup of brown sugar and about a teaspoon or two of vanilla. I never measure out my vanilla, I just pour it in, but to me it's about a teaspoon. We're going to take this mixture and we're going to cream it together with a spatula, and I'll be back to show you the rest of the recipe. Before I show you what the creamed butter, sugar, and vanilla look like, I'm going to show you the kind of vegan butter that I use when I bake. So this is Country Crock plant butter. It's made with olive oil and it's dairy free. Comes with 4 sticks. It's plant based. So it may contain soy, but it doesn't have any dairy or anything in it, and it's got 25% less saturated fat than dairy butter, and I like the way that it bakes and the way that it tastes, and it melts like real butter and it tastes like real butter, so that's what I use. So moving on, this is our creamed butter, or plant-based butter, creamed plant-based butter with our brown sugar and our vanilla. And this is what it looks like after you mix it together. I'd say about a good 2 minutes. You can also use your stand mixer. That also works good too with the paddle attachment, gets it really whipped. So you want it to be all combined. And I used light brown sugar, but you could use dark brown sugar. It just gives it a darker, deeper, richer taste if you use the dark brown sugar. Alright, so now I'm going to move on to my next step. Your mixture should then start to look like this. So now I'm going to add my flax egg, which is 2 tablespoons of flaxseed and 6 tablespoons of water. It's been sitting for about 10 minutes to thicken. I'm going to pour that in, and then I'm going to mix. In this bowl I have 2 1/4 cups of whole wheat flour, and I also have 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon and half a teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to add this mixture to my wet ingredients and mix to combine well. Also forgetting to say, I added 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So it's the whole wheat flour, 2 1/4 cups, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and half a teaspoon of salt. So if your mixture is like mine came out a little bit dry, you can add just a smidge more milk. So I'm just gonna add like a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half. That should do, that should be enough. Not too much, just to moisten it a little bit. Since adding the milk, it made it more moist, and I like the consistency of this better than without the extra 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of almond milk. So now I'm going to add in my non-dairy chocolate chips. So these are my non-dairy chocolate chips. They're vegan. They're from Taza Chocolate. And I'm going to measure out a cup. It's okay to have extra. Just a little left, so I'm just gonna, you know what, that's probably a cup and a 1/4. But I always like extra chocolate in my cookies. I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna mix this together, scoop it out, put it on a tray. I'm gonna stick it into the refrigerator for 10 minutes so that my cookies don't spread in the oven as much, and then I will come back and show you once I'm ready to put them in the oven. Also, the oven should be preheated to 325. That's what I bake my time on. So my temperature on, so 325. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. I scooped out all of the dough into round balls about equal sized, and I spread them about that much apart, and I put them into the refrigerator for about 10 minutes, so that way when I put them in the oven at 325, that they won't spread as much. So that's a trick I always do. I always stick them in the refrigerator to get cold. Alright, so they're gonna go into the oven. So I set my timer for about 10 minutes. I'm gonna check them at like maybe 8 and see how they're doing, and if after they need longer time, I'll put them on for longer. And then I'll take them out and I'll let them cool, and I'll show you the finished product. These are the chocolate chip cookies after they have baked. I think because I scooped them kind of big, I needed to leave them in for about 15 minutes. So I had it in originally for 10 minutes and then an extra 5, just so that they could brown a little and brown on the bottom and cook. They're not dark, too dark, but they're a little crisp to the touch. So that's the final finished product. Thanks for watching my video, and like the video, subscribe, and the recipe will be in the description box below. And if you have any questions, just comment, and if you try out the recipe, send me photos. And I hope everybody has a good rest of the day.